Right now, the blurriness is at 147. So the concept is draw a mask around the stain, blur it out. That's the simplest way to describe the concept or technique of what we're trying to do to Photoshop these stains away. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. I'm Derek Peachy. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to remove stains. This is from an actual video that I recently made. This is what I actually had to do to make the video, in my opinion, publishable. So I saw these stains and I just couldn't deal with it. I really couldn't deal with it. It was so noticeable and it just stood out so much. I just had to remove it. Alright, so here's the video after we've removed the stains from the pants. I'll play it here in a sec. I'm going to show you what it looks like once the work is completed versus when it's not fixed. So you can see the stains on the pants here. I'll play it again. Right here. Black stuff here. Might not be able to notice it on the video that I'm posting right now, but essentially this is with it fixed. To me it looks good here. I don't think you can notice it. And then that's without the fix on. It takes a lot of work to remove these stains. This is not something that I wish upon anyone. But yeah, you can watch the full video to see if you can notice the work on my channel. The goal is to not only remove the stains, but to make the work that we did to accomplish this unnoticeable as well. It's not very effective if people notice something weird on the video. We're essentially photoshopping the video. I'll be uploading both a video with almost no cuts, so you can see the full process of how to remove stains, and how it's a time-consuming process, which hopefully you do not have to do. It sucks. But if you need to do this, and it needs to be done, then I hope this video helps you. I will also make a short cut-down version that is just to show the concept of how to accomplish the removal of stains, and maybe you'll be able to figure it out from there. But if you want to see all the issues that I ran into, all the little things that I think about, worry about to make the video, to make the stains not only unnoticeable but the work unnoticeable, then I recommend you watch the full video. Not only can this be used to remove stains, but it can be done to remove blemishes or things that kind of stand out that you kind of wish you could remove or Photoshop away. This technique works for a lot of things. Today's a tutorial on how to Photoshop a video, essentially. We won't be using Photoshop, we'll be using just Premiere Pro. Things you can do inside Premiere Pro. Yeah, so you can see there I got the mask on the calf here. You can see the stains. 1, 2, and then 3 up in the upper leg here behind the knee. Here on the upper left thigh. So yeah, these things are driving me nuts. I want to remove them. The first thing you do is add Gaussian blur, which can be found in the effects folder. You add it to the clip. And then you make a mask around the area. You try to stay essentially only on the area that needs to be fixed. You don't want the mask, like, it's on the leg, right? So you don't want what we're gonna do to be touching the pavement or the road or anything like that. You notice the mask kind of comes off the leg as I do playback here, but it doesn't actually look like that. Anyways, here I'm gonna show you. Okay, so there, see how it comes off the leg? We don't want that, right? We want the mask to consistently stay on the leg. The other issue is we got the wrinkles on the pants, right? All right, so you notice that one black stain, dot, whatever, it's kind of hidden by the positioning of her leg. So we don't have to really worry about that one. And I'm showing you that it's easier to just move the entire mask up or down versus moving each one of these points down. Because if you move the points down, it's just a lot more work. Also increases the chance of the work being noticed. So this is already a lot of work. So the less work to accomplish the same goal, the better, in my opinion. Or maybe you like to make your life extremely difficult. I don't know. Some of you guys are hardcore out there. Alright, so we're going frame by frame, essentially. Trying to see if the dot escapes this kind of interior of the mask, right? Like right there. The stain has escaped our border, or our mask border. And right now, we're kind of doing like a rough version. We'll check out to see how it looks, and then we'll make adjustments as we go. The big problem is it's going to be hard to not be noticeable when the creases of the pants become broken when they shouldn't be broken. And you'll see what I mean in a sec. So see how the pants is just creaseless right now? There's no wrinkles. It's a nice, clean, wrinkle-free pant right now. If the legs and the pants stayed like this, it would be very easy. Right now, the blurriness is at 147. So the concept is draw a mask around the stain, blur it out. That's the simplest way to describe the concept or technique of what we're trying to do to Photoshop these stains away. See how you can see the wrinkles being removed though, right? Like that, for me to get rid of the stain, I'm gonna have to cut into the wrinkles. But I'm gonna try my best not to do that whenever I can. But see how there's a wrinkle on the left side of the mask, nothing in the middle, and then a wrinkle on the right? That's why I'm extending this mask all the way to the edge here. So it kind of just looks like the wrinkle stops here. Like look at this one over here. It kind of wrinkle in the middle here, nothing here, nothing on the outside there. So it's kind of still realistic. That is what I'm going with. I actually shot this video ahead of time and recorded audio and everything, but my mic was off, so I'm kind of just trying to remember what I said during the entire process here. So I really wish I knew exactly what I was talking about. It seemed excellent. It was probably the greatest YouTube video ever. But you know, the mic wasn't on, so first time making a tutorial video. All right, cut me some slack. All right, so we're looking at it now. Right? It's looking okay. Could it be adjusted? Sure. I think just for consistency, I'm moving this point up. I think I noticed an edge, too much of a hard edge, or it was at least noticeable to me. Now it's looking it's okay. Still see some weird stuff. The work is noticeable, and the stain shows up here, right? So back to adjusting it. While I'm making adjustments, it's easier to, in my opinion, to unblur the mask, so you can see exactly where the stains are. You're not, like, if you leave the blurriness on and you try to do this, it can be not only annoying, but it can be hard on your computer. You can also crash your computer. This is a very GPU, CPU, I'm not really sure. It's an intensive, I would say, GPU process. So yeah, you have a high chance of crashing your PC or Mac. Sorry. You have a high chance of crashing your computer, whether it's a Mac or Windows, Linux, whatever. When you're doing effects and making small adjustments, especially the mask, I find that the Premiere Pro crashes. Sometimes I'm running on a M4, I believe, the newest Mac. It's maxed though. It's got 120 gigabytes of RAM. I don't know. It's maxed out. Whatever the maximum you can do on a M4 laptop, that's what I did, because I'm working with 8K footage here. It's a very intensive process. Anytime you're working with high resolutions, you need a good computer. I have had many computers throughout the years, and I would say that this Mac is the best computer I've ever owned. And it's just crazy to me because it's just a laptop, whereas I used to have like a graphics card, like the best graphics card, you know, Threadripper, all that stuff. And the 8K would just destroy the computer. It was almost unusable, almost unable to work with the footage. Sometimes it wouldn't render the footage. Like, it's been a hassle for a long time. Then I got this new M4 Mac, and yeah, I highly recommend you get this computer if you're working with 8K. All right, so here we're looking at two different masks, two different sections. The blurriness affects anything. So when you do the Gaussian blur effect, right? You throw it on. If you just blur it, your whole video will go blurry, right? So what you do is you mask the sections you want to be blurred. Whether you want to remove, I don't know, garbage cans or, I don't know, people's faces, whatever. That's kind of like when I use Gaussian blur the most. That's when I use blur effect. All right, so going in here, I kind of notice, I'm noticing some things that I don't like, but I'm zoomed in just to see if I can fix things more. So again, playing the video back, seeing if I noticing anything weird, and then making micro adjustments. Like I said, guys, this is a tedious, time-consuming process, but if you need to do it, then yeah, it's worth it. It's not perfect. There can be issues that make this technique process, you know, unusable still. Sometimes there's just things you can't fix, or sometimes there's things that you will try to fix and you do the job, but the work that you did to make things unnoticeable shows up. Sometimes you fix the stain, but what you've done has affected the original image too much that you notice it. It doesn't look as bad as the stain maybe, but it still can look bad. So right now I'm fearing, oh god, the wrinkles, they might give me away here. Like, see, it's just a little funky. It's funky, but don't worry. As I showed you the before and after, you don't notice this by the end, but this is for people that are watching the long video. This is why I suggest watching the advanced version. I would call this the advanced section of this, because you're not just removing the stain, you're looking out for things like the wrinkles in the pants. And you got to make micro adjustments. Versus, let's say, a static shot. Like, see, I don't know if I don't know if it's the shadow or if it's an actual stain. I think it's a shadow, but at this point, anything black, I'm just like, nah. You gotta go. If it kind of looks like a stain, I don't want to see it. Alright, so see how funky that looks? Right, we're gonna fix that. Before the end of this video, it will be fixed, but this is exactly what I mean by this process technique can be bad. Or it cannot work. But I would say I have 90% success when doing this. It's kind of rare for this to happen, the situation to happen. I'm guessing that when she was just walking around, it had rained that day. And unfortunately, I think some water, she might have stepped in a puddle, or when you're walking, you know, you got watery shoes or whatever, you can pick up some water and it can fling back up and get your pants. Or maybe it was me, the cinematographer. I decided to jump in a puddle beside her. Yeah, but see the difference already? Right, look at the stain on the right and look at the pants on the left. Right, it's a huge difference. That's why we're doing this. The work doesn't look noticeable to me anymore. This is what I'm doing. I'm just kind of I'm staring at her leg right here, and I'm like, is this too funky? Yeah. I just want to keep the area that I've blurred, like I want to keep it all consistent. It's not good when it you know, flies left and right after every frame. Like, that's when you would notice it, in my opinion, is when you're doing like adjustments every single frame. And if there's a massive adjustment from one frame to another frame, or from one frame to like a third frame away, what I'm talking about is time. So if you have a big mask on the leg here, and all of a sudden it moves from here to like down here, or if it's covering the top of her thigh, it'd be easier in a section where I'm working on the mask. But, and see, I notice her leg here that has the stain again. So this is a different shot. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to fix this again. I'm noticing that right now, and I'm going, damn it. Do I do it on this video? I might do it on this video. I can't remember. Looks like it. Yeah, so here's me just being like, all right, I gotta remove it. And this is probably a lot easier to do because I don't think I have to deal with wrinkles on this one. So this is what you would call the basic concept or technique of what we're doing versus the more advanced version in the first clip. So still dealing with wrinkles. Probably gonna, yeah, pull that up. Probably stay above this big wrinkle. This thing right here, I hate this. I don't know if it's called the anchor or whatever. I don't even know what it's called, but this thing just, it affects angles and stuff. See how when you pull these things on the mask, this anchor thing just gets in the way. You want to stay away from like straight edges. 90-degree pointy edges you don't really want to do. You want to have like rounded, and you want to feather it. You don't want to feather it too much. But yeah, this one looks like a lot easier to do. This one's just basically pull the mask, keep the stain in the middle or inside the borders of the mask. Yeah, I think this one's basically done already. Blur it out. Obviously, I go in after this tutorial, this video. I go in and make more adjustments. I don't make it this sloppy, but essentially I'm just doing like a quick run through of the technique. Alright, so we're back to the original clip. Like I said, if you want to see the results, you just go and watch the video. Okay, yeah, this is what I talked about with when you first just like make a mask, your whole screen will go blurry. So it's better to just have the blurriness at 0. Make your mask so you can see what's going on. Yeah, so we're trying to, it's kind of faded at the top there. So I'm okay with the spacing of this mask. The way you make your mask is super important. You don't want to have too many points, and you don't want to have too little points either. You want to just have points that when there's movement and stuff, you can adjust it. Like, look, if you have 100 points on this thing, every time you move a keyframe, you're going to have to move 100 points. Right? So you want to try to keep the points to a minimum. And yeah, of course, if you just got to move the mask in its entirety from one small section to another small section, it's not too bad. But right here, you're going to see exactly what I mean. If I had like 10 points here, then you would notice, I don't know if you can hear my dog breathing. My dog's breathing. Yes. I'm working. And you're walking away. Anyways, back to my point. See how I'm making these adjustments here? Why? Because the left leg is now crossing, overlapping, whatever you want to call it, over top of the right leg. All right, see, I'm going to make adjustments with the, I don't know what you call these things. I'm going to call them the Jimmy and Bobbies. Why? I don't know. But sometimes you got to adjust the Jimmy and Bobbies. Because if they run into each other, you get like weird bends, weird angles. See how it's kind of like doing like an S shape here? If you have them too close, this is the stuff that crashes your computer. I want to tell you. This right here. When these points get close to these points and the angle of the mask starts getting weird, that's how you crash your computer. This is where I'm like, damn, did I make too many points? This is what I'm kind of feeling like. But I think it ended up being okay. But I'm definitely cutting it close. You see how this is kind of like a pointy angle versus like this is a nice round angle? This also makes things kind of noticeable. This is where you get funky stuff happening during the playback. So you'll see why this is an issue. Why didn't I just leave it? Why would I care that the leg is going over top of this leg, and you know, why not just leave the mask the way it is and whatever? Because if I leave the mask the way it is, you're gonna notice this weird spot on the video where this leg, this part right here, which wasn't blurred out, it's got this little grainy texture, which you probably can't notice. But it's got this nice grainy texture on the pants. If you blur it out, it softens it. It removes the grain. I don't know how to really describe it other than it removes the grain. It removes the texture, it removes the authenticity. So if you do that, okay, so now I'm going to show you, this is another advanced part. I've now made the mask invisible by putting it to 0. And the keyframe beside it is 100%. So from this frame to this frame, this is risky. This is what can be noticeable. Because essentially the blurry mask that we've made is going to just pop on screen. And you're hoping on the video, you know, this is a frame. Your eye can only notice essentially every 15 frames. Or something like that. I don't know. I think I heard that somewhere. Like, you're not going to notice during video what happens every single frame. You're going to kind of notice like a combination of frames. A motion, the video in motion. So if we had the ability to see every single frame, that would probably give me a major headache, and that would probably give us a major headache, and you would notice this, but because we're humans, we can get away with stuff like this. So again, I'm showing how the mask, I'm adjusting the mask. What I'm doing is I'm also finding when her leg moves up or down, left or right, or back and forward in the image, because essentially this is like a 3D image. Her legs are inside of this image, which has a foreground, a background, right? You got the road up here, or the walkway, or whatever you want to call it, the concrete up here. You've got her shoes kind of in the middle of the frame. Like, how do I describe this? So think of this as the X section, right? This is the Y section, and then the Z section is like the location of her leg. So right now the Z, I'm getting really technical here, but hopefully this makes sense. Her leg is at Z1 here, now it's at Z5, right? Like the distance from her leg from the bottom of the screen in the Z dimension is further inside of the 3D space of the video. Nobody's gonna get that. But not that I think you're dumb, it's just I think I'm a terrible explainer of what I'm trying to say. You kind of gotta look at the mask as like something that is inside your video. Alright, so look at these stains, right? They're just terrible. And yeah, white pants I don't recommend. Although Beck looked incredible with these with this outfit. I really loved her choice. Love the red shoes, the white pants, the yellow jacket. I mean, when she wore this, I was just super excited to film it, because yeah, the nice contrast of colors. The yellow jacket really popped, the red shoes really popped, and the white, I mean, yeah, obviously this sucks with the stains, but I don't know, you don't really see people wearing white pants, and probably because this is what happens, but she popped out. And everywhere we were walking, because we were walking around in Toronto, filming at different locations, and I'm telling you, everybody was just looking at her like, wow, who is this girl? It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to witness. That's when you know you have a really good model. Yeah, she's just absolutely beautiful, and nobody was like ignoring her. Everybody was just looking at her, and it was kind of, I had to remove so many video clips because people were literally just staring at her. It's kind of like, okay, gotta find some shots where people are done looking at her and moving on with their lives. But I had her walk it around from one section of Dundas Square to another section, and yeah, I'm sure you'll notice in the video a couple shots that I mean I have to do some clips of her. I can't not use any of the footage. But yeah, went off on a tangent there, but honestly, I don't know how to explain it. This is you're working with models, and when you're working with an incredible one, you notice the people around her are noticing her or him, whoever you're working with. You're like, yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that aura. He was just aura farming all day that day. And as her cameraman, I was probably getting a little bit, just a touch. Feel the energy. And after making that statement, I have lost all aura. I don't even know if that's what people say. I don't know if that's how people think that's what you call it, aura. Aura farming. Alright, back to the video. Yeah, so again, I think what I'm doing is I'm finding when her leg bends. I'm finding when's the highest point of this, of the stain? When's the lowest point of the stain before it moves left or right or whatever? That's what I'm trying to do. So like, okay, see now it's moved forward, if that makes sense. It's moving up in the Y space, Y axis. And we're trying to keep the stain in the middle of this throat. When I do quick playback, it gets all funky, like the mask moves around, but that's not actually how the mask is moving. Alright, so see how the stain kind of went like on an arc, like this? Like you want to make your keyframes. You don't want to have tons of keyframes. You want to make your keyframes be at certain points where there's going to be a major change of Z, Y, or X dimensions. You do that so that it's a smooth movement. Like, I'm just hating this anchor so much right now. I guarantee it. Just yelling at it, cursing its existence. And again, this is why you don't want to have 100 points. It would be absolute hell. And also, like, see the Jimmy and Bobbies here. If you had 100 points, like, you have to move the Jimmy and Bobbies as well. So you're gonna have 100 points that are running into each other, and you're gonna have to not only adjust the main points, but you're gonna have to adjust the Jimmy Bobbies as well. So you see? Okay, this is what I meant. This is what crashed your computer right there. They ran into each other. There, I just completely canceled out the angle because I was. This is bad too, though. You don't want this. I don't remember if I adjusted. I'm pretty sure I do, but maybe I don't because I just don't want the Jimmy and Bobbies running into each other here. Yeah, I know. I'm about to fix it right now. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Oh yeah, to just adjust the see how the cursor changes to like that skinny, I don't know what you call it. You press option on a Mac, you hold option, then you click on the point, and you can adjust just the angle without moving the main point. Like normally when you click on it, it kind of looks like that. So right now I've done 100 on the opacity because up until that point, you want the mask noticeable. You want the mask working. And right before it gets to the legs crossing and overlapping, I made the mask 0% here to hide the mask. And then I'll put it back to 100 eventually or something, I think. So we want the mask working from the beginning of this clip to this point, and then we want it to disappear to this point. Okay, so this section here, from here to here, will be 0 opacity, as in the mask will not be on, right? Crosses, and then back on. Anyways, here's the before and after. Yeah, looks good to me there. I'm pretty sure I leave it there. The blurriness, this is without the fix on. Turn it on mid shot, so you can see the difference there. And the stains are gone, and the work should not be noticeable. You mask around the stain, you feather it, just so that when you blur it, the shape of the blur isn't extremely solid. No, how do I explain that? If you don't feather it, then the shape you make with the mask, when you blur it, it creates an exact, it creates the exact shape of the mask that you have made. So let's say you make a square mask and you blur it without feathering. It'll make a perfect square, or whatever the shape of your mask is, and it'll be extremely defined. Like the sides will be defined. What feathering does is it sort of unshapes the mask border, so it turns the perfect square, it turns it into a more, how do I describe it? You're essentially making the shape kind of fall off. It's like a gradual decrease of its shape. It doesn't make a perfect square, or doesn't make your mask extremely defined. I might have made some more smaller micro adjustments afterwards of this video, but essentially that's how it's done. It took about 35 minutes to do a, I don't know, 2 to 3 second clip. So yeah, it's a time consuming process. It sucks, but that's how you do it. What I'll do is I'll be making videos, right? And I'll run into situations like these. And what I'll do is I'll just record me working in the edit so you can see what I do. I might do coloring, like DaVinci Resolve tutorials, show you how I color things. Anyways, thanks so much for watching the video, guys. If you liked what you saw, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more tutorials like this. Insider knowledge. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos, or I'm hoping to anyways. Thanks for watching. Take care.